just super excited to continue to build the relationship with him.
Pick, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell.
He wasn't supposed to dominate this early. That's what the experts said. That's what the scouts whispered in back rooms and on call sheets. A true freshman starting at left tackle in the Southeastern Conference? Nearly unheard of. Especially not at LSU, a program steeped in generational tradition, stacked with blue-chip talent, and defined by the kind of institutional rigor that eats freshmen alive. But Will Campbell never cared much for what was supposed to happen. From the moment he stepped onto the field, he wasn't just participating, he was rewriting the rules. Not out of defiance, but out of pure purpose. Some players wait for opportunity, others chase it. Campbell built his own. Born on January 6, 2004 in Monroe, Louisiana, a town where football is less a sport and more a sacred ritual, Campbell's journey began amid the rhythm of small-town Friday nights and the echo of crowd roars long after the lights went out. In Monroe, football isn't something you try, it's something you live. It pulses through generations, it shapes identities, it builds men. Even in his early years, Will Campbell wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was, quite literally, a towering figure. By middle school, he stood well over 6 feet tall, his frame already drawing the eyes of coaches and competitors alike. But while his size might have drawn first attention, it was the way he moved that truly set him apart. He carried himself with a kinetic grace rare in big men, athletic, poised, and explosive in short bursts. The fire was already there, burning quietly but intensely. At Neville High School, Campbell's reputation exploded. The local legend status came fast, but it wasn't undeserved. He wasn't just physically dominant, he was technically sound and instinctively smart. Rarely does a player combine size, agility, and relentlessness so seamlessly. As a left tackle, he didn't just protect his quarterback, he erased defenders. By the time he reached his senior year, he wasn't just one of the best linemen in Louisiana. He was one of the most sought-after prospects in the country. 5-star status followed. So did offers from powerhouse programs. Alabama, Georgia, Texas. Every helmet school in the country wanted Campbell anchoring their offensive line. But Will didn't chase flash or fame. He chose loyalty. He chose home. He chose LSU. The decision wasn't just geographical. It was emotional. For Campbell, representing his state wasn't just an honor, it was a calling. He wanted to wear purple and gold, to walk the same tunnels as the legends before him, to look his community in the eye and say, "I stayed, I fought for you." And yet, even with all the accolades, all the high school dominance, no one expected what came next. The transition from high school to college football is often brutal, especially in the SEC, a conference that eats freshmen and spits out broken egos. And nowhere is the transition tougher than on the offensive line. In particular, left tackle is a position so critical, so tactically sophisticated, that it's often reserved for experienced upperclassmen with years of seasoning. It's a role that requires strength, technique, vision, and the ability to process shifting defensive fronts in real time. One mistake can get your quarterback injured. One missed block can lose a game. True freshmen don't start at left tackle. They wait. They learn. They lift weights and hope their time comes. But Will Campbell didn't wait. In 2022, he became the first true freshman in decades to start at left tackle for LSU, and from his first collegiate snap, he looked like he belonged. Scratch that. He looked like he owned the position. Week after week, Campbell faced off against the fiercest defensive ends in the nation, and week after week, he stood his ground. His footwork, sharp and deliberate. His punch, violent but controlled. His balance, unshakable. At a position built on precision under pressure, Campbell displayed a maturity beyond his years. He played like a veteran. He executed like a technician. He moved like a dancer with bricks in his hands. Over the course of his college career, Campbell logged an astounding 38 games and over 2,500 offensive snaps. He allowed just 5 sacks during that time, an almost surreal level of consistency in a conference as unforgiving as the SEC. During his tenure, LSU led the SEC in sacks allowed, a stat that doesn't just highlight a good offensive line, it spotlights its foundation. And Will Campbell was the cornerstone, but his value was never just in the numbers. Campbell's presence went beyond tape. Coaches spoke not just of his strength or intelligence, but of his maturity. The way he carried himself in meetings, the way he studied film as if it were gospel, and the way he treated every practice rep as if it were the last down of the national championship. He was 18 years old, but his presence felt timeless. Teammates didn't just follow him, they drew strength from him. In the weight room, he was the first in and the last to leave. On the practice field, he set the tone. In the locker room, he led not with bravado, but with quiet confidence and care. Leadership wasn't something he demanded, it was something he earned. And when the lights shone brightest, he delivered. Against Alabama, against Florida, against Georgia. Campbell didn't just hold his own. He dismantled defensive schemes and frustrated pass rushers who would soon hear their names called on Sundays. He didn't just survive in the SEC, he dominated it. His greatest strength wasn't raw power, it was precision. His ability to diagnose blitzes, adjust his footwork, and realign his hips in a split second turned pass rushers into ghosts. There's a difference between a good left tackle and a great one. The good ones block. The great ones make it look effortless. Will Campbell made it look inevitable. Of course, NFL scouts took notice. They praised his football IQ, his toughness, his relentless pursuit of technical perfection. But even the best prospects aren't immune to scrutiny. One red flag, if you could call it that, was his arm length, measured at 33 inches, slightly below the NFL average for elite offensive tackles. In a league where reach is often considered essential for pass protection, some questioned whether Campbell would be able to handle long, fast edge rushers. But those concerns quickly faded as scouts dug deeper. What he lacked in wingspan, he more than made up for in leverage, hand placement, and elite footwork. His tape silenced doubts. His consistency turned skeptics into believers. His interviews sealed the deal. The accolades came quickly. Freshman All-American honors, a finalist for the Lombardi Award, winner of the Jacobs Blocking Trophy in 2024, naming him the best blocker in the entire SEC, a consensus first-team All-American by both media and coaches. But for Campbell, it was never about trophies. It was always about the work. And through the work, he discovered something deeper: heart. The kind that doesn't show up on stat sheets, the kind that reveals itself when the season wears on, when the pain sets in, when the spotlight becomes a furnace. The kind of heart that says, "I'm still here, let's go again." He played through injuries, through exhaustion, through moments where lesser men would fold. He kept going, not for himself, but for his team, his coaches, his community. He was the voice that calmed the huddle, the first to celebrate a teammate's success, the one who offered a hand when a back missed a block or a guard blew an assignment. Because for Campbell, being a great lineman meant being more than just a protector, it meant being a foundation. As his final college season came to a close, the NFL's interest became a chorus. And then came the 2025 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots, a franchise long known for building dynasties through smart, disciplined football, held the 4th overall pick. With that selection, they sent a message to the league and to Campbell himself. His rookie deal made that confidence official, a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract worth $43.66 million, including a $28.39 million signing bonus. But the money was just the surface. Beneath it was trust, belief, expectation. In Foxborough, Campbell is tasked with the same job he had in Baton Rouge, protecting the blind side of a young quarterback. This time, it's Drake May, the Patriots' future under center. And the man tasked with keeping him upright is a 21-year-old from Monroe, Louisiana, whose story is only just beginning. Will Campbell isn't just a promising rookie. He is a symbol of what happens when natural talent meets relentless discipline. Because his time is now. He is a blend of old-school grit and new-school fluidity, a throwback to mauling linemen of the past, wrapped in the mobility and intelligence of the modern game. He is the first of his kind, and for all he's already accomplished, for all the doubters he's already silenced, Will Campbell's most remarkable trait may be this: he's still hungry, still working, still dreaming. Because greatness, for him, was never about the spotlight. It was about earning it, snap by snap, rep by rep, game by game. And the story? It's just getting started.